So thank you everyone for joining today's presentation. My name is Lacey Connor. I am an RBT who is doing her master's in ABA to become a BCBA, but all those acronyms really aren't important. All you need to remember is that I do one-on-one work with our kids here at Carmen Pingree to teach adaptive life skills. This presentation was co-written by our clinical director, Sarah Bachman, so thank you very much. Today, we'll be discussing the Incredible 5-Point Scale, which is a tool for emotional recognition, regulation, and reactions. By the end of this presentation, we'll know what the Incredible 5-Point Scale is. We'll learn the emotional curve and how to customize this tool for ourselves and our families. On the left, I have an example of what the 5-point scale is. And on the right, I have a pain scale, which is something you might be more familiar with. But I want you to keep the pain scale in the back of your mind when we're discussing the 5-point scale, because emotions have a very visceral feeling in the body, and a lot of helpful tools for what we can do about our feelings is to check in and see how our physical body feels, especially if we don't yet have vocabulary for naming emotions. So the scale was invented by Kari Dunn-Burren and Mitzi Curtis. They're special education professionals who developed this specifically for children with autism, but can be used for any behaviors. At the bottom, I've included Kari's website, which has a bunch of free downloadables and extra learning materials that you might want to check out on your own. And we'll post the links to that in the chat and underneath this video. This 5-point scale helps us visualize emotions and behaviors in a more abstracted way so that we can communicate without words necessarily, just so that we have a shared vocabulary for sharing emotions and being able to work through them together. How this relates to our kids is that we develop different skills at different rates, and we potentially have many reasons that might inhibit learning these social emotional skills. We might have difficulty at gaining acquisition and mastery over these skills, but once we have learned how to walk our children through this tool, hopefully they will be able to guide us and guide their own reactions to their behaviors. So a diagnosis can point us in the direction of potential tools to use, but the Incredible 5-Point Scale is pretty versatile. It was developed for neuroatypical early education, but I have also used something similar I've also used a tool similar in other practices as well. This was the curve I was taught when I was working at the Huntsman Hospital, formerly known as Uni. And so we can see that we can break this down into our 5-point scale as well. We have calm, which is level 1. We have 2, which is our trigger. We have 3, agitation. 4, acceleration. And then at peak, we have crisis. What we are trying to do is help our children into the de-escalation. And we also want to be mindful that even as they are calming and taking a step back, there is a period where even if they are calm, they may not yet be back to baseline. The rule of thumb at Huntsman was, somebody has returned to recovery if they've had at least one nap. Something about sleeping just resets all of those agitated emotions. And I have included here a link to the place I obtained this curve from. It also has a bunch of really useful social emotional techniques for our children. It specializes in ADHD, anxiety, autism, and operational defiant disorder children. But this curve is deceptively simple. It only goes one way and doesn't spike at all. But if you've helped someone through a pretty trying time, you can know that progress isn't always linear. We don't always go in order. I have reshaped it into a step pattern, so we can move up the chain or we can move down the chain. And I have it divided up into 5 here. Some de-escalation techniques we have is help. So we can ask, hey, how can I help you? What can we do? We have prompt, which is the 5-point scale itself. We can look at the chart and point at what level are we feeling? How does it feel in our body? What do we want to do about this feeling? But if we are very escalated at an acceleration or at a crisis peak, we are going to want to wait, which stands for, why am I talking? If a child is in a full meltdown period, their senses are just overwhelmed with all of those emotions, all of those feelings, all of that anger. And it will take a moment to step back so that they can get into a place where they can hear and calm. So any step back is definitely a win, but we also want to praise them if they do escalate and choose a healthy behavior for that escalation. Because big feelings are inevitable, what we're hoping to do is have healthy coping mechanisms for those behaviors. So what's tricky about this tool, and what we need to keep mindful of, is that emotions and feelings are private behaviors. They're happening internally. And we have to make them public by having our child tell us what those feelings and emotions are. We can't assume that our child is sad or angry, although we can see on their faces indicators that how they might be feeling. We need to listen to them and affirm whatever words or verbiage they're using and shape that into a shared dialogue. We don't want to be telling our children, you are at a 5, you are at a 4. I know I get frustrated if I'm having a conversation with someone, can't really get through to them, and they're like, but why are you mad? And I think, I'm not mad. I don't know what we're talking about. And then they say, but why are you mad? And I think, well, I wasn't mad then, but now I am. So questions to ask while we're guiding our kids through this tool is, well, that kind of looked like a level 4. Do you agree? I noticed that when you stomp your feet or breathe really heavily, that, well, that kind of looks like you might be angry. Do you agree? When I feel angry, what I like to do is take deep breaths and go somewhere quiet. Can I do that with you? We want to model naming our emotions and choosing what to do with them. We want to be actively participating in this process with our children. And we also want them to know that whatever answer they do give us is valid. All feelings are good, but we have to choose what to do with those feelings. And by good, I mean morally neutral. They simply are. So I do have a quick video which is useful even for showing children how to use it. And I think it'll break down the process of using this chart a little more clearly.
Have you ever gone from feeling focused and calm one moment to feeling totally out of control the next? Our emotions are around us all the time. We can feel happy, sad, mad, worried, shy, confident, calm, silly, loved. The list literally goes on and on. Some feelings make us feel good on the inside, while others leave us feeling pretty lousy, but they are always there, and all of them are totally normal. Our feelings are a lot like the wind. The wind might always be blowing, but you may not notice that it's there until you focus your attention on how it rustles the leaves on a tree, how it feels against your skin, how it's blowing your hair, or until it completely blows you over. Focusing on our feelings means not only recognizing and naming them, but also focusing our attention on our bodies, from the smallest trickle of happiness to the largest burst of anger. So how can we tell that our feelings are starting to build up before they get so big that we're out of control and being blown over? To answer this question, we're going to look at a thermometer. Now, normally this tool is used to help us measure the temperature of something, like how hot or cold it is. But it can also be used to show how big our feelings are. Some feelings can be really small and easy to handle, like when we feel calm or focused. Other feelings can be really big and make it hard to stay in control, like when we feel furious or anxious. Let's take the feelings thermometer and tip it over for a second. Now check this out. We can put numbers along the thermometer to identify how we're feeling. The bigger the number, the more intense our feelings and actions that go with them are likely to be. When we talk about the size of our feelings, there are 3 main questions to answer. First, what thoughts might I have? How does my body feel? And last, what things do I do when I feel this way? Let's break it down one level at a time. While we do this, remember, it is totally normal to have really big feelings or really small feelings. All of them are okay. What matters is what we do when our feelings get too big. You are at a level 1 when you feel good to go. You might feel happy, calm, or confident. You might think, I like this project. This is nice, or I can do this. Our heart and breathing are slow and steady, and our bodies are relaxed. If I took a picture of you at school, a level 1 probably looks like you being on task and ready to learn. My favorite way to think of this level is the 3 C's. You feel cool, calm, and collected. You are at a level 2 when things are okay. You might feel bored, tired, or neutral. You might think, I wish we were at recess, or when's lunch? Your body probably feels sluggish or slow, and your mind may wander or daydream. You may be off task, but your heart and breathing are still slow and steady. A level 2 at school may look like you putting your head down or kind of staring out the window. A level 3 is when we start to have a problem. You could feel confused, worried, or disappointed. You might think, I failed the test again, or this is too hard. Your body is no longer calm. In fact, your tummy might start to hurt and your heart and breathing may start to rise a bit. A level 3 may look like you softly crying or even just giving up on trying. This level is so important because that uncomfortable feeling you feel at a level 3 is your body telling you that you need to ask for help. At a level 4, you have become pretty worked up. You might feel anxious, scared, or frustrated. You might think, I can't follow along. This doesn't make any sense. My teacher is moving too fast and I can't take it anymore. Your body will start to send you clues that something is wrong at this level by beginning to increase your heart rate and breathing even more. You might notice that your muscles start to get tight and your face begins to get red and hot. A level 4 may look like you crumbling up your work or arguing and refusing to accept help from an adult. A level 5 happens when you are completely out of control. Your feelings have become so big that stopping them seems impossible. You might feel furious or terrified, and to be honest, there likely are not many thoughts happening during these moments. Your feelings are so intense that the only thing your brain can do is to try and keep you safe. Your heart is likely racing and your breathing is probably uneven, but going really fast. You may be so hot that you're sweating and your muscles are so tense that your body wants to take action right now. The problem is the things you may be doing at a level 5 to get rid of your body's buildup most likely are not safe. You may be screaming at other people, throwing objects, running away and hiding, or just being destructive. When your feelings get too big, it's important to listen to the trusted adults that are around you and can help you calm down. When you're ready, try telling them how you're feeling and why. Adults are better able to problem solve with you when they know how you're feeling. Your feelings are your body's way of telling you that something might be wrong. Knowing how to identify the difference between small feelings that we can cope with and big feelings that are overwhelming is an important step to getting the help we need. Teachers and parents, for activity ideas that go along with this video, visit selsketches.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Raphael, for sharing the video. I do also recommend the SEL Sketches website. It also has a bunch of other free resources and videos along similar topics. So back to our presentation, I have a few examples for how we can use the 5-point scale for our children specifically. It's nice to tailor the interest to our child. So the first example I have is with animals. So what I have here specifically, say our child is interested in animals. Maybe it's a bit intimidating to stop and have them check in on what their behaviors look like for themselves. And it might be easier and more fun to relate it to animals. something that they're really jazzed about. So I have level 1, a calm purring kitten, completely baseline. And level 2, we have still calm, still walking around, but maybe surrounded by a group. Maybe we want extra comfort, not quite baseline, but still very calm. At number 3, we have chattering monkey. We can be really high energy, and maybe it's a nervous energy or maybe it's a happy energy, but it's a bit escalated, not quite as calm as the other 2 levels. Right here, we can use a squeeze or a stress ball. We can do breathing. For number 4, we have angry zebra. Their child is starting to get escalated. We can still have them think of that more comforting animal, the zebra. We can go to a relaxing, quiet place, protect ourselves like the zebra does. And then 5, we're in full blowout, roaring like a lion. And definitely always what they can do is come to an adult to walk and talk and breathe it out. And each time we see a step down in the escalation, we definitely want to give a lot of praise. Anytime they choose a positive reaction to big emotions, we want to give them praise. The next 2 examples, I have a chart that is missing the what it looks like on the left side. We just have a what it feels like and what I can do based on anxiety. And on the left, I have a chart that's missing the what it feels like. It's voice volume. So these charts can be customizable in this way of leaving out 1 or 2 sections that we're not actively looking at, because we're looking at behavior and what we do about that behavior. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation. I appreciate you sticking with me the whole way through. I hope those resources will be very helpful, and if anyone wants to reach out, they certainly can. Thank you.